get these games underway. Stream's finally fixed up. Looks like everything's finally what you guys have been waiting for. Beatrice for as long as he can, but going against that Vladimir, it's going to be very difficult to get any long-lasting damage out there. Mr. Flag, what are your initial thoughts?
That everything is working almost as intended.
Running okay.
There we go.
Standard clears for both junglers here, going buff to Wolves to the other buff.
Hop down to
But what we see after that is going to be a lot of top lane pressure coming in on both sides. The early invade from Skarner, but isn't going to find any sort of vision or anything after that. They're just going to swap vision sides. Looking for each other in their respective jungles. Full start. Here. Kha'Zix's trying to go in for a mid lane gank, but Skarner's here as well. Vladimir's going to find himself getting rooted. He's barely taking any damage. He's going to restore himself with that Q, and they're going to walk out, both of them, with all summoners intact. He's going to pop his Ignite, but nothing else gets taken after that. Kha'Zix's looking for more. Some early game action happening, going down in the mid lane, very early on into the game. Looking for something mid, but isn't going to find much of anything. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, it looks like Xayah and Rakan are starting to prove themselves as the early game 80s support combo, as they're already applying a lot of pressure. By Gnar in the top lane for the opposite team here. Did see some early action in the mid lane. As expected, Kog'Maw and Lulu are going to find themselves under tower for the vast majority of this game. Much better early duo bot lane. Thing happen again in the mid lane. Swain doesn't see it coming. There goes the slow from Vladimir Z. Kha'Zix is going to get the jump in, and there's going to be the flash! Burst blood going to Vladimir! Bot lane, Rakan's going to get that early engage, but it's going to be followed up by that Lulu polymorph, and nothing else is going to be taken out of that. Good and important to note that Swain did not blow off any summoner spells despite giving up first blood. In case Kha'Zix visits bot lane again. Here comes a flash from Maokai. He's going to go on some back. Gnar's going to find himself a little bit too low, and that's going to be an easy kill for Maokai. A 2-0 early game lead. Ooh. Let's see. Strong here, strutting their stuff. Skarner's gonna visit the mid lane. Vladimir with no spells is just gonna try and get a pull. Flash, that's gonna be the stun for Vladimir, and Swain gets the return kill, but here comes the TP from Maokai trying to come in mid. He's gonna cancel it instead. A very early game centric lead, however, instead of it being in the bot lane, we're seeing a lot of action mid. Vladimir and Swain have used up the majority of their summoner spells at least once. Since Vladimir has that summoner spellbook, he's going to be able to switch to TP and just come back mid lane. Yes, lost. But together, both teams are already going to find the majority of their players getting to level 6 so early on in the game. Amazing plays by both sides. A lot of those stopwatches are going to be turned on, so that's going to be another factor to keep in mind in trying to get anybody killed here. Trying to invade Kha'Zix's jungle, but that's not going to be met with much of anything. Lane goes for a little trade as Maokai, unscathed, as to be expected in that matchup. Swain, meanwhile, is going to be backing up Skarner, making sure that he's able to invade that jungle early on in the game. Try and put Kha'Zix behind so he can't have as much of an impact as later on. Delaware already has Rutgers' entire bot side. He's going to deny Kha'Zix from being able to get much impact out of the areas that they want to. They're going in on the top side, reduced to about 40% of their HP, but nothing else besides that. Makai, on the other hand, having that more innate, going to be very difficult to play against that. Just interrupting the backings. Explosive start in the mid lane, not much else after that. Things are starting to slow down a little bit here. Mr. Flag, can you hear us?
No, I can hear you guys just fine. I was trying to get everything cleared up so the stream was good to go. Sorry to leave you hanging, Razy.
You're totally fine. Here comes Skarner in the bot lane, but University of Delaware is going to give up the fact that he's most likely down there. So he can get a flash engage here if Rutgers decides to get a little too antsy with their movement, but he's going to back off instead. Maybe look towards the mid lane. Only has his flash up. His ultimate's starting to come in clutch now, as well as those stopwatches, which is going to be important to note. Going to go into that Raven
damage via sway.
Back, but here comes Kha'Zix in the top lane. Nar's forced to flash out of there, and he's not going to have that pivotal cooldown for later on in the game.
That'll be down for a couple of minutes. You got an evolve. Did he evolve his claws?
Instead of the evolved R, very interesting choice.
Okay, maybe he's thinking he wants to take a little bit less AoE damage. Maybe he just likes to go invisible more often.
At any rate, that's going to be both summoners down for Rito Gods. And he's going to find himself under a lot of pressure here. Kha'Zix finally opting to go towards the bot lane to see if he can help him out in that regard. But look at the amount of vision control the University of Delaware has this entire game so far. They've had very perfect vision control. They started off in the bot lane knowing that Kha'Zix was going to play around bot lane. And now they moved it up top since they saw Kha'Zix go mid and top a lot. Deny Kha'Zix from being able to have as much as an early game impact as he wants to be.
Doing a really good job of just kind of, all in all, keeping him basically Krugs.
That's going to be huge, especially considering that University of Delaware has the scaling bot lane. Which here comes Kha'Zix trying to come around, but he's going to get spotted by that ward. Let's go Swain dealing a lot of damage to Vladimir and just try and get the return, but it's not quite enough.
It's too much damage.
And matchup up top lane, Vladimir has that built-in sustain, so he's not going to have a lot of trouble just staying in lane. He doesn't have to back up, and even if he did, he still has the Summoner Spellbook cooldown with Teleport to get him back into lane fast.
Got Gnar getting ready to go Gnar.
He's getting ready. Is he going to be anything out of that? Not quite.
Nah.
Both roaming around mid. Kha'Zix, however, is going to be the only one who's spotted by wards here. Rutgers doesn't have a lot of vision control. Top lane, there goes the Gnar ultimate, but it's not going to find his mark. Nature's Grass coming out of the Maokai. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Swain's going to pop his Ignite here. Vladimir is forced to flash out. Swain flashes in return. He's going to use that stopwatch and get the kill. But meanwhile, in the top lane, here comes Skarner trying to get that impale. Seeing if he can get it.
Oh, the stopwatch?
Just like before. He's going to try and turn to 1v2, but it's not quite enough. They're forced to back out in a very close quarter situation there.
Thinking about going in still? Nah.
Almost as bad as it did in the mid lane. His sums and his stopwatch. So they're trying to get the return here. They're trying to see if they can get the first blood tower to try and keep the pressure on their side. Rutgers is a very strong start so far, more or less. The University of Delaware is not going to give up so easily.
Alright, there's blood first turret.
Going to Rutgers University. A very minor, but respectable gold lead here. Going to go back into that burst.
Going monster on Vladimir again. How do you... I guess you just sit there and transfuse afterwards for a while. just deal with it.
Oh, we're gonna see a 3-man gang.
Oh, no.
Swain's trying to make the escape, but with no summoner spells left, Skarner's gonna have to make a very quick decision to make sure that everyone lands out okay. And there's gonna be our first team fight. There goes the quickening. He's gonna find Swain. Swain's gonna get bursted down by the entire Rutgers team. Perfect communication and coordination from Rutgers University to get that pivotal collapse.
Yeah, they just kind of
Shutting down Swain early on.
just kind of squished him. Didn't have anything to do. Get the pair recall back.
From Rakan was all she wrote, because he's going to go down easily. Meanwhile, though, University of Delaware is going to secure the first Drake, which was a Cloud Drake. Movement speed. Hopefully that will come in clutch later on in the game when they have to make those split-second decisions again. Here is bot lane and top lane are actually going to swap lanes. That's going to be very difficult for the Nard to deal with 2 people in the top lane. Those early advantages. You're seeing here that University of Delaware still has that vision control. Didn't come in clutch last time because the Swain still got cut out, unfortunately. Flag, your thoughts?
And just everything going in general. I'm waiting for the lane game, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. Called it early, calling it now. And by burstable HP, I just meant you gain more HP when Gnar becomes Gnar. Lulu's ultimate gives HP. I mean, Swain sustains. So there'll be an issue with like bursting, maybe. We'll see if the coordination gets there.
We're seeing a lot of very tanky champions being picked. A lot of University of Delaware is trying to move up topside. Khan and Zaya are trying to hold the line, make sure that they can advance. See if they step into that bush. They're going to start the Rift Herald. And that's going to be a call for everybody on both teams to join him. We're going to see our first fledged team fight. But with Kog'Maw, he's nowhere near to respond to this.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Bad.
I think that's just free Rift Herald.
See what we're going to get here. Rift Herald going on. Just going to back off of that. Rift Herald going to Kha'Zix. He's going to be able to use that to maybe crack the top tier, the first tier turret, top side. Delaware is falling a little bit behind.
Oh,
he's going to try and...
going down on flag. Just going to use his headset belt to get out.
There goes the Hevel Plague. The flash by Kha'Zix. The Void Assault. He's going to jump in. He's not dealing enough burst damage. Vladimir trying to respond, but he has to pull outwards. There goes the Impale from Skarner. Meanwhile, Kha'Zix is going to find himself being caught out.
Yeah.
Just after taking that Rift Herald. How unfortunate for him.
And I think Swain got the blue buff off of that too. Oh, no, it went to Skarner.
Went to Skarner.
That was kind of a break for...
Okay, trying to defend this turret. He's going to use the Nature's Grab. Skarner's just to use the stopwatch. Vladimir's still in the fray, trying to deal as much damage as they can. And that's going to be a very quick pickoff on Skarner. Very strange tradings going on for both teams here. Trying to keep up. But University of Delaware, they just can't keep taking these fights where they're coming out not in the lead or at least coming even. Because they're going to find themselves falling behind really fast. Continue to happen. A picture of their item choices here. Oh, never mind. Apparently that's on the stream. Going to be completed here. Notice that the Zaya has a 30 CS lead. Kog'Maw trying to build that Ginsu's Rage Blade, but Zaya already has not only Berserker's Greed, but Essence Reaver already completed and is working towards that next item. Fire Drake is going to be the next one that pops up here. Seeing himself bursted down. Meanwhile, Swain has not seen that same burst returned onto him. He's just too tanky right now. Delaware try and move towards getting this Fire Drake secured here. Putting a lot of pressure towards the river, trying to get vision control of that area. Because of taking the first Inferno Drake. Or excuse me, Ocean Drake, apparently. Inferno Drake's going to be the one following. This is going to be an Ocean Drake. Trying to start that off. Rutgers doesn't have enough teammates here in order to contest this all that well. A free Ocean Drake just going off to University of Delaware. Meanwhile, in the top lane, though, they're going to lose their turret in response to that. But notice that the difference in CS between Rutgers' champions and Delaware's champions is causing them to be behind by 3K. We're going to see a team fight bust out here. There's going to be the Impale and the Nature's Grasp going on to Skarner, trying to do as much damage as he can to Maokai, but Maokai is just a little bit too tanky. All of University of Delaware, there goes the quickening, he's going to find Lulu, she's going to get picked off. Rakan's trying to look for more, but he's not quite. He gets rooted instead. There goes the Nature's Grasp to protect Rakan, and that's going to be a 1 for nothing. And the mid lane turret is going to go down here. Very strong here. As University of Delaware has not been able to contest as much trade as well as Rutgers. They just lost both Gnar and Lulu for no reason. Greeted though. He's finding himself getting picked out. He's trying to do enough damage. He's able to kill the Gnar instead, but he gets picked off by the Swain in retaliation. Of events is University of Delaware is just trying to stabilize here, but they're finding themselves out 3k gold with Baron spawning in about 2 minutes and Infernal Drake also on the line. That they've been trying to establish throughout the entire game has not been able to prove that too useful left and right. And Rakan staying in this bush. Will Swain take the bait? Who's Rage Blade finally being completed for their Kog'Maw here, who is still 30 CS behind, unfortunately. While jungler Skarner, or Into the Dusk, CS above Kha'Zix. It's still anybody's game. It's still relatively early on into the game. Still a little bit behind. We wanted to check on the red buff here. A bit different than what we initially predicted. I predicted that there's going to be a lot of action around playing around the bot lane. And so far that has not been the case. There's been a lot of action mid lane between Swain and Vladimir. Kills going off on both sides. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Vladimir's lucky he didn't die a couple more times as much damage as Swain was trying to put out on him in the very beginning. Just every trade, it just seemed like he was losing. For the most part.
They've been able to cover for... And they're gonna go the quickening. Kha'Zix is gonna jump with a Void Assault. They're gonna find themselves rooted.
Flash out.
Flash. Zyre flashes in response. There goes the Featherstorm, trying to get a pick off, but instead East Coast Carry is gonna kill him alone. Trying to turn the whole thing around. Kha'Zix is gonna go for more. Darsh finding himself in a very awkward situation. He's trying to bounce, trying to see if he can get away. He's forced to flash in response. Vladimir trying to go for the tower guy, gets the kill on Lulu and gets the blood out of there. Maokai going for more, and there's going to be the double kill going for Andiz on the Xayah. It's going to be a huge team fight going in favor largely in Rutgers. And Infernal Drake spawning very soon. That could be very bad for University of Delaware here. Tier 2 turret. That's just situation. They
just
started
a lot
off that
right now.
It was just a lot. You can't really expect that. You know, when you see a Rakan on the enemy team, you always have to anticipate that flash engage. That's something that turned that entire team fight around. It looked like for a second that University of Delaware was finally going to get their break, but instead Rakan turns the entire team fight around, and the burst between Xayah and Kha'Zix just proved too much to handle.
Just it was, I mean, you know, the whole lockdown, you got the knockup and the charm. Speed boost. It's fun to go.
Need too much. But we're gonna see. And has his ultimate up. Maybe he can get some pickoffs in response. Round, because University of Delaware is looking kind of dire. Behind 7 gold. Able to pay off yet, although he should be coming online sometime shortly. Meanwhile, Maokai's got a whole 3 kills, and their Xayah is pretty fed now, going 4-0 and 2. switch situation. The miss on the root.
Zaya's
He's
ultimate.
gonna go in. He tries to use the ultimate, but there goes the Feather Storm coming out of Zaya. A very important cooldown.
Especially now, if Skarner wants to engage with the grab, but there's another quickie. Jumps out really quick. Vlad comes in.
He's gonna find himself Polymorph halfway through. He's forced to run out, and then instead, Swain trying to get the engage, but here comes Maokai from the other end. There's stopwatch going. Huge Nature's Grasp, casting all 5 members of the team. Here comes Zaya coming in, trying to do as much damage as he can to the Swain. Swain's gonna fall by alphas. There's only the 3 members remaining on University of Delaware. They're gonna force to have them make a retreat. There goes the Gnar ultimate, but it's not gonna find its mark. Zaya is forced to pop the heal, the knockup, and Zaya's not gonna find himself killed just yet. The remaining members of University of Delaware just trying to survive for as long as they can, but it's not quite enough. Only 2 members survive, and they're gonna back off after that.
Kog'Maw though.
How about a while?
Really scary, just auto attack. Never afraid of nothing.
They had the chance to get in range.
Well, and he also had a very good stopwatch to avoid basically all of the damage from Vladimir's ultimate.
Enough, because in that time that he used that stopwatch, that's a lot of DPS that Kog'Maw isn't delivering. And especially when you have your Rage Blade up, that's going to be super pivotal to trying to turn those team fights. Stopwatch, the way he did, the University of Delaware just didn't have the DPS to contest. No, Drake going over to Rutgers, who's looking pretty strong. Almost a 10k lead. Delaware. Not one of these team fights has gone their way. Contest the damage or the raw amounts of CC that continuously attacks both players. Oh, but here comes the Baron.
Gnar almost killing. What you call it with Baron's help over there? Almost got recon. Forces him
That
back.
could have been very important.
Well, I mean, it forces him back right now. They might find a good fight.
That you're right. Without that quickening ultimate that University of Delaware was looking for, especially with the Baron up and 3 of their champions not in position to contest that Baron. Like they division in the early game, they would have known that, and maybe they could have gotten the Baron off of that too.
I don't know. Playing it a little safe isn't ever a bad idea. And Recon was already back.
Is something that can get you back in the game. Going for this Baron here, trying to see if anybody's out of position to take this easily.
Okay. Also, just so everybody knows, Kha'Zix I think took wings in his second evolution for his ultimate. They look a little bit bigger, so he'll be able to hop around.
Around the Baron. Pressure going on. Kha'Zix is going to back in the meantime. He has time to defend that.
Alright, we got a duel going on. Gnar.
That sustain coming out from Maokai. He hasn't taken barely any damage, but here comes the Mega Gnar. He's going to find the Gnar ultimate. He's trying to go for more, but it's not going to get enough. Maokai is just out-sustaining basically the majority of the damage that Gnar is faced to do, and he's trying to back off here.
Forced him to run away. He's just basically, I don't know,
Yes,
took everything.
Still, yeah, he tried to deal all that damage.
There were like 2 or 3 stuns, threw him against a wall. Didn't matter.
The entire thing. And because of Rod being forced back, it looks like that's going to be tier 2 bot.
Alright, Skarner looking to go after Kha'Zix. Forces his ultimate out. They might try and be really aggressive. Doesn't look like it though.
Kickoff is trying to stabilize this game too. The 10k gold advantage for Rutgers University here. Top is back, but it's okay. No threats. A lot more vision control going over to Rutgers here. They got a couple wards around the Baron. They have the river relatively warded. If University of Delaware tries to go for this. almost 4 complete items. She's taking that Executioner's Culling to better deal with Skarner, Gnar, and Swain in the late game. So it's looking like Xayah's going to activate, damage-wise, at least a lot more than Kog'Maw, who only has a Wit's End and Gensu's.
Oh, flash engage.
But yes, you're gonna the flash engage, the quickness coming through. There's Go Kha'Zix trying to get in the brunt of the damage. Xayah's gonna get a kill. She's dominating at the moment. Vladimir trying to look for more. He's gonna get the Kog'Maw in response. Swain trying to force himself back. Vladimir's getting his kills to make up for the early game. Game is slightly delayed. You seem to be a couple seconds ahead of me.
That you should fast forward.
I should fast forward. I should fast. I'm fast forward.
You should be caught up. Gnar going in.
Going in, he's gonna get the pick off on Apples, but he's forced to flash out. Look at that amazing amount of burst coming out from Xayah. And trying to contest this, but it's already too late.
Well, I mean, they stop the Baron at least, and you know, get 1 kill.
In response, though,
What's better than nothing?
it is better than nothing. That I will admit. Flash could be very important. It's good to know that you don't have to worry about that Gnar flash ultimate coming through. You know.
That is true. You don't have to worry about Gnar again.
Establish more vision control around the Baron to make sure that Rutgers can't do it again. Kog'Maw still hasn't been able to pop off, but it is getting towards that late game. They haven't got that early game that they wanted so far.
Alright, you have Kha'Zix.
Nah,
He decided against it.
skip away. Game, the more of a threat that Kog'Maw becomes. However, it looks like Xayah already has a lot of gold here with 6 kills. 6 and 3 at the moment. Another engage by Rakan. He's trying to go for more, and he just gets completely obliterated.
Oof. I think he was ulted there by Rakan. Not sure. He was at least knocked out.
For just 1 second with that quickness from Rakan. From Xayah and Kha'Zix, just completely gone. Not even there.
I think he may have. Ignite's not really low enough.
Going for University. University of Delaware trying to contest, trying to see if they're going to do the Baron.
Alright, they started it. Let's see what happens. Team fights on. They contest.
Down, here comes Skarner trying to get. Oh, he's going to get knocked up and pushed away instead. Lulu's going to force the ultimate. There comes the Nature's Wrath. Skarner's going to go down by Kha'Zix, and now Xayah's going to follow up the damage. This Gnar ultimate is going to find 2 people, but not enough follow-up damage. The knockout by Rakan is going to find Lulu finding himself very low. Here comes Kog'Maw trying to run away, but it's not enough. A flash engage, and that's going to be Virtue getting another kill on that Kog'Maw. Yeah. That Kog'Maw hasn't been able to do anything this game.
Well, he just... His front line's already gone, man. Like, nothing good's going to come from that.
PC coming up from Xayah being fed so early onto the game. Now Vladimir's a threat that you need to keep in mind of, and that's going to be not one but both inhibitors down.
Yeah.
Be desperate for University of Delaware here on the very first game.
Leads up to an extra 4,000 gold. Just about.
That's right. Difference is going to prove start the Ocean Drake, and it's going to go completely uncontested. University of Delaware is just not in a position to contest any of that.
And then
though,
most likely rotate and just start pushing top down.
he's going to find a way to try and close out the game. Virtue's becoming a monster. Getting constant double kills with these team fights, and the amount of damage that Xayah's putting out, it's just completely destroying the enemy team. There's just not much they can do about it. Attempts to go, build tanky and try and defend themselves with the Lulu ultimate and the shields. So far, it just hasn't proven to be enough.
It's just between. You just have 5 Well, 8 more deaths between the ADC and top laner on Delaware's side.
Is it
Or
that
Rutgers.
Kog'Maw?
Yeah, Kog'Maw and Gnar have died 8 times to the 0 from Maokai and Zaya.
Even the Maokai could just do Gnar. They're just trying to stabilize as much as they can, but it might just be too late.
I'm wondering how much of a raid boss the Maokai would be if he just kind of tried to walk up.
I mean, not even just Maokai, but even Vladimir at this point is incredibly tanky while still dealing tons of damage. See another fight possibly break out at this top turret. This is marching in with the Baron buff.
Oh, locked up. What a shield given to Kha'Zix from Wukong.
Dance a little back and forth. They're trying to siege. University of Delaware has been able to keep this
Kog'Maw have a certain
so far.
No.
Kog'Maw is just trying to get as much damage as he possibly can, as much poke.
Any
The
damage
tower goes down.
at this point.
Oh, dire
Flash.
response with her ultimate. Nar's gonna get a full ultimate as well, but the Quicken is gonna find the entirety of University of Delaware out of position. There goes the Zonia's Hourglass getting popped off by Swain. Meanwhile, Nar's gonna find himself getting knocked out.
Kha'Zix shooting
He can do, he gets the Rakan, but he's gonna get double killed. Another triple kill going in for Virtue. What a monster. A double kill
And
going
they're
for
just
response
pushing
by
in,
University of Delaware, but that's gonna be it. They're gonna push it in with Vladimir and Maokai still up and everybody out of University and Delaware down. First game going to Rutgers University. And that I thought it would be, but definitely an exciting game nonetheless. For the Rutgers.
I guess I was wrong.
Hey to be wrong, man.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.